So if you're anything like me, using fabric glue to upholster miniatures and are slowly losing your mind, today we're going to be testing 3 alternative methods to upholstering miniature furniture to see which one's the best. So first up, we have the fabric glue as our base tester. Next is the hot glue gun. We're going to give this a try. I have a feeling it's going to get messy. Now we have the fabric tape. We're going to see how well this actually sticks to fabric. And finally, my favorite, or the one I think I'm going to have most fun with, is the stapler. So we have our 4 testers and 2 extras because I know I will mess up at some point. So as much as I would love to never touch this fabric glue ever again, I think we also just need to use it as a baseline. We're just gonna do 1 popsicle stick, and I'll do a layer of fabric glue. Now we're gonna fold over one side of the fabric onto the glue, put down another layer of glue, and fold over the other side. So there we go. So the baseline is done. We're gonna set it aside and move along to the other contenders. Next up, we have the fabric tape. I'm just gonna take out a small one, and we'll probably end up even cutting this down. Okay, so we're just gonna cut this in half, put down 1 strip, peeling up the backing. Now we're gonna fold over this and stick it on, and put down the other strip, and then fold this over. That was pretty easy, but we still have 2 more contenders. So let's set this guy aside and move on to the next one. So next up we have the hot glue gun. This one I feel like is going to be very messy, but for some projects I feel like this is going to be really nice. It shouldn't need a lot of glue at all. The one downside is you do have to touch the hot glue right after you lay it, and you have to lay it pretty quickly, or the glue will start solidifying like this one sort of started to do. Then do a touch more right under here and immediately put that down. Now let's try to do the second layer pretty quickly. And this guy is done. We're just gonna let it harden up or cool down, either way you wanna say it. And let's move on to the next one. Now last but not least is the blunt method, which is just a stapler. I tried to find mini staples and I couldn't find any, so we're just gonna go with a normal stapler. I feel like this isn't gonna be good for most projects, but there are some where this might work. So let's try it out. Okay, so first issue I am seeing is the fact the staples went through both layers of the popsicle stick, but we will just finish up the experiment. Not as pretty and cute, but it did work. So let's take a look at our 4 contenders. First, we're starting off with just the base, which is the fabric glue. This guy does take a while to dry, and I have noticed that there is staining when it comes to this. It might just be this particular glue. Other fabric glues might not stain, but for me, I really noticed the staining with this guy. It does take a while to dry, but it is pretty secure. As long as you have enough overlap, I would say this one could possibly work. It could get kind of messy, but I also have nightmares from dealing with this guy. So next up is the hot glue gun. There is a ridge from where the glue was, which for most projects I don't think would be a big issue, but it's just something to keep in mind. Also, you would have to put the fabric on pretty quickly after putting the glue down, so you can make sure it's still warm and adheres to whatever the fabric is. I would say this was a pretty good option. I could definitely see myself using this for some projects. So next up we have the fabric tape. This was incredibly easy to use. The only thing I'd have to keep in mind is to make sure I trim it better. So we have fabric glue on each end that's sticking out, and that is gonna adhere to other things that you might not want your project adhering to. So I think I would absolutely use this method in the future. It was $5 at the store, and you got a pretty good amount of strips. There was about 30 strips in this package, and no mess, super easy to do. And then finally, we have the staple method. Not as clean as our other options. It might have just been how I was holding it. The staples did come through, which could be the fault of the popsicle stick just not being super thick. I could see this potentially being some methods depending on what I am stapling or what I'm adhering fabric to, or how angry I get in the process. But I don't think this is something I'm gonna turn to immediately. I think out of all of our options, this would probably be last. And then it would be the fabric glue in third place, the hot glue gun in second place, and our winner is the fabric tape, because this was so incredibly easy. This is probably the option I will use moving forward. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to test in the future. I have a couple ideas of things I have been struggling with that I definitely want to know if there's a better way to do it. But if you are struggling with upholstering miniatures, I would definitely give this fabric tape a try. As I said, it was $5 at the store, so pretty cheap. So let me know what you guys want me to test next. I think the little testing 1, 2, 3 series is definitely going to be a great way to figure out what works and what kind of doesn't.